hell is empty, and all the devils are here.
Hello and welcome to the Devil's Library. And with me this week, I have Leraje.
Hail Satan.
I have Pike.
Hail Satan.
And I have Ligeia.
Hail Satan.
And I'm Lithos. Hail Satan. And this week we shall be discussing a book by Rachel Harrison called Play Nice, which is a take on the haunted house category. So one of the longest standing tropes in horror is the haunted house, inhabited by a malevolent spirit that generally attaches itself to a child. It's not the easiest task to take this trope and make something original of it, and this book creates its own spin on the genre via a family dealing with its traumas in dysfunctional ways, petty sibling rivalries, and the main first-person character whose biting sarcasm injects some dark humour into the whole story. Warning, listener, there will be spoilers, as there is also the question throughout the book as to whether this malignant entity is real or just some kind of trauma-induced hallucination. So maybe read the book first if you don't want us to piss on your literary enjoyment. Quick summary is: estranged alcoholic mum dies and leaves the haunted house to her children, who had assumed she had sold it long ago. There are 3 sisters, a father and his younger wife, who have to deal with what to make of the situation. The main character, Cleo, is the youngest of the siblings, and the story is told from her perspective. There is also a book which surfaces, written by the mother, purporting to be the true story of the house, which all other members of the family had been sworn to not read by the father.
Ooh, have any of you read any other chick lit horror? Because that's what this is.
I didn't, but I read another book by this same author just before this one, just to know if this is her style, or was this just one-off? So now I know.
And?
We will get there. We'll get there.
Okay.
I'd read a couple of short stories of hers in various random collections as these things pop up. But other than that, this is the first novel-length work of hers that I've read.
Did any of you take longer than 3 days to read it?
Yes.
I think so.
Yep, I took my time. So. But I did read the last half in an afternoon.
Mm-hmm. I thought it was very fast-paced. Maybe because I was on a plane for much of it.
Oh, no, so... you're not wrong. It was. And it's very conversational as well. There's a lot of dialogue. And the dialogue's very good. A lot of books fall down on the dialogue being unrealistic. People over-explaining or using language that they wouldn't normally use. I thought the dialogue writing in this book was superb.
Yes, it was very snappy. The whole "I have forsaken my serums," stuff like that. It was really fun to read, I thought.
Yeah, I will admit that this is the first book that we've read collectively together that I've genuinely struggled with.
Oh.
Yeah.
Me too.
Get those claws out.
I'll preface any remarks that I make by saying up front that I think she is clearly a very good writer. There's no problem with pacing. There's no problem with her writing skills whatsoever. She's clearly a very good writer. Maybe it's my fault. You know, I will read something else by her because it's I don't want to give up on someone who's clearly a very talented author. But this one just did not hit right for me at all. I came away with it with lots of question marks about quite a lot of it. I don't think I really understood what the point of it was.
To me,
entertainment.
It felt like a young adult book for adults. Because basically, if we took the tiny little sex scenes out of the book, it would be completely a young adult for me. For me, yeah.
I didn't think of it in those terms, but I can see why you would think that. I think the bit of the boat. I'll start off by saying the thing that I enjoyed most about it was the book within the book segments. They were by far my favourite parts of the book.
I do like the idea. I didn't like the execution of it. It was.
Oh, I really enjoyed that bit.
Disturbing. Finally, I was getting a little bit excited about the plot, because this is supposed to be a horror book. Would you agree?
Yeah.
It was not.
Apparently.
It was not scary at all. And when it was getting a little bit more like exciting, or there was a little build up, there was another section of the book, or it was not working for me. Like exactly where she put those segments of the diary or whatever, the book, it was always taking away that little tiny build up that I could have had. Like, oh god, okay, there we go again.
I think the reason I really enjoyed the book within the book segments is because the mom, Alexandra, is the only character that I had any empathy for whatsoever. She's the only one I actually quite liked. I thought the rest of them were pricks, to be honest with you, all of them.
Especially Cleo. I have another name for her.
Well, Cleo is, I mean, we should explain that Cleo is the youngest, arguably from what comes forth in the book, the most attractive of the sisters, and also a successful influencer in the sort of beauty products.
I straddle already. I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, that does, the concept of influencer immediately makes you go, oh, for fuck's sake.
Not that. You know what? That I'm told she's attractive. I don't want to be told. I want to create my own opinion. I don't like a book or a movie that is telling me who is or who isn't attractive, because that is so subjective. I did not like to be told, because immediately I was thinking I don't like her, because I am being like, oh, I'm supposed to be like, oh, she's in these little shorts and tiny. I don't care.
I mean, she does talk a lot. I mean, and that is in character. She does talk a lot about what she wears, but I think the attractiveness comes out in the sort of the fights that she has with her sisters, where they go, oh well, you're the most beautiful one, of course.
Yeah, but she wrote it, so I just felt like it's a little bit pushy to me. I would like more depth to the characters before I'm told what they look like, what they're wearing, and nothing else, because I can't really say anything else.
I quite liked her at the start. I liked her more at the start than I did at the end, put it that way.
Okay, how about you guys who liked it? Go ahead, because that is more important than...
Yeah, we've moaned now for 5 solid minutes.
I am so sorry. I want to hear... Maybe you're going to change my opinion on this book, because I would really like to like it. I'm going to shut up.
Well, I thought she was a very well-written character. I mean, she's shallow, narcissistic, and egotistical, but her face, her expressions, she's very expressive, blowing raspberries and crossing her heart and pulling a face and all that. And she also has a very, very modern, a very funny way of speaking. So she does fall into that influencer stereotype, but she's still interesting. At least she was to me.
Yeah, I found a quite a very well written character, and yes, she comes across as shallow, but I see that as deliberate, right? She is very vain. She thinks she's the smartest in the family. She thinks she's the most successful. She does look down on other people in the family. That's her character. That's not the author. That's the author writing her character and writing it convincingly to me. Writing this shallow, egotistical, really bitchy person who just fucking, not just her friends, but she also upsets people that she works with at one point. And in the end, she gradually kind of becomes more of, to me, she became in the end more of a likable character in that she actually had to own some of the shit that had gone on and her part in it.
That's interesting, because I was the other way around.
I don't think there was any consequence.
No. I think I said this to Pike, because we had a bit of a chat about it. I know, it was a very brief one.
Just a short one. Just a few words.
Betrayal.
Yeah, I know.
Traitors.
We're bad. It's my fault. I did it. I did it. Pike was there with her hands over her ears going, "Stop talking!" And I just carried on. But I felt her story was quite conservative, really. She started off as this kind of... when you strip everything else away, it's a story of and I'm going to do air quotes here, wild child who goes through a bad time, and then at the end of it, she realises the only way she can be truly happy is if she gets a proper job and moves back home and marries the nice boy next door. I'm kind of convinced there's going to be a sequel and she's going to be a trad wife influencer in the next one.
Oh no, I didn't see that at all. I did not see her. That's not the way I read it. I didn't see her coming out of it in that way. I thought she just came out of it. In the end, it was deliberately left kind of hanging in the air and vague, as in they managed to sell the house.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And, she's going, yeah. I think the last line was promise across my heart that I'm okay kind of thing. But I think it was deliberately left up in the air for you to make your own mind up about it, which we've obviously done in our own ways. Everyone's seen it differently. I'd think a sign of a good book if people come out of it with different ideas. That's my personal take.
I think I just didn't get it in the whole book. I think it's my failing, not hers as a writer. I just didn't understand much about what it was trying to say.
Well, it's not anyone's failing. If you don't like it, you don't like it. That's not failing.
Well,
that's just...
It's weird because she's, like I said before, she's clearly not a bad writer. She's clearly a good writer. And there was elements of it. I thought there was a nice vein of dark humour that ran most of the way through it, particularly at the start, which I thought was really enjoyable.
Oh, she had some killer bitchy lines where I actually laughed out loud. It was, yeah.
I much preferred her at the start of the book than I did at the end.
This is going to be a second episode that turns into a therapy session where a person who doesn't like the book is told that it's okay.
I hate not liking books, especially when the author is very talented, as she clearly is. It's just it didn't particularly land for me, this one. I think that, there's a disconnect between what she was trying to say and what I was able to take from it.
I haven't found any redeeming qualities in this girl. I couldn't. Nothing.
Cleo.
You know what? Yes, I think if this was a try to be like a feminist book, like she was acting in a way that is a stereotypical bad man behavior towards women, like just hanging around with one and sleeping with another and like, I don't give a shit, I just need sex and whatever. She was acting like that with men. I don't think that's feminist. That's just being a cunt. Whatever gender. I hated it. I hate when people are like that. I don't know why these guys were with her, even if she was the most beautiful girl. She was a bitch to them. I don't know how these men were so deserving of this. I didn't get the explanation to that, and I didn't like that. Because to me, they were acting nicely to her, and I didn't understand why she was like that. I don't like it.
I think in the end, again, I'll come back to the thing. I don't think that is the sign of failure in an author. Plenty of authors have written books about abominable characters that have no redeeming features, and they're really good books. One of mine, which I listed on the website as one of my 10 reads, was The Death of Bunny Monroe by Nick Cave.
Yeah.
Cave, sorry.
Cave.
Nick Cave.
Leave it in.
By Nick
Long
Cave.
legs.
And the guy in it, Bunny Monroe, is an absolute shitbag, awful father, terrible to women. He's got no redeeming features, and he dies in the end. And you go, well, yeah, fuck you.
Yeah.
And it's like that is how it was written, you know. And yes, you need to have novels where the characters maybe don't have redeeming features. They are terrible characters, and I think it's a sign of kind of ability in an author to be able to put themselves into the mindset of a really unpleasant character, an egotistical narcissist, as Cleo
but
obviously
nobody
is.
told her to stop. Like, she was like that to everybody, to her sisters, like in the family, at work. She was just a selfish little brat, and it was not sounding like a real relationship with anybody, because somebody would have told her already, like, listen, girl, we love you, but you need to change a little bit, because this is like absolutely like, why are you like this constantly to everybody?
Well, I
Even
think her
the poor,
sisters did
what
tell her
was
that, though.
What was Austin? I will find the name.
Austin.
Yeah,
Austin?
it is Austin. Austin.
What did he do to her? Why was she like, well, I don't care. There's
I don't
the
know.
door.
Did he ever have an opinion through the course of that book? Because I
Nothing.
don't remember him having one
Like,
about anything.
I don't think that's how it works. And if it does work like this in the world, I am so sad. Because nobody deserves to be treated that way. I'm sorry, maybe I'm too sensitive around this. I don't know.
Well, I think she was told by her sisters, her family, that, you know, her own father, that, you know, you are, why are you behaving like this? Repeatedly, this came up, you know, and it's, you know, and again, the thing with Austin is, because it's written from her perspective in the first person thing, you know, you wouldn't know his opinion, because that is the way she kind of regarded him, as a useful person to help her out when she needed, and you know,
when she
a
needed.
shag when she wanted one, and that.
Or when she needed a taxi, Daddy was good enough to take her somewhere for lunch or bring money.
Yeah,
And
there
then
was
you just go home, Daddy. I don't need your opinion about anything. Just
the thing
send me
about
money.
her successful career and earning money, and then her sisters saying, "Oh yeah, well, the insurance, that was your dad who's paying for it," kind of thing.
Yeah, and your phone and everything.
I would agree with Ligeia in that it wasn't a feminist book unless you take it as a sort of stereotype of feminism, because I know New York Times called this a feminist novel, but it all just hinges, it's feminist, quote unquote feminism, hinges on the battle of the sexes. So, you know, she'll say things like, oh, I can't believe how stupid men are, and other sexist stuff like that, and it's never really challenged, and it's all just seen as sort of a sign of her liberation, which is, it's a very primitive idea of feminism that doesn't kind of fully understand that it's about gender equality, or should be. And also, Roy? I mean, justice to Roy. What the hell happened?
I know. What the fuck did he do wrong?
Did he not lose his head in the middle of the book and then he was alive?
He was bleeding out of his eyes.
He had his eyes gouged out, and then we went to hospital, and now he's retired. Is basically it. I mean, I guess you can still live with your eyes gouged out by a demon, and now we've given it away, folks. We've given it away. The demon is real.
Demon. Hold on.
Yeah, demon is
By the way, what do you guys think about this? Because that's not clear. The whole book is saying, like, is the demon real, or is this sign of some, like, other problems, like there's a lot of alcohol and drug misuse and whatever other things. So it is portrayed as that could be something maybe genetic in the family, maybe she inherited something. But if that would be, like, we should be reading into that, why would she describe the demon physically many times? It takes away everything that was built up again. Like, I wanted to think, like, whatever I want. Maybe he is real, or it, whatever. But once you described the teeth, and it was so stereotypical, it was so funny to me. I'm like, come on. The empty black eyes. Can we do some pink eyes finally? Or like rainbows from his ass? Or like something new? Why is this just the teeth and the eyes? And then the little smiley faces? I couldn't. I'm like, come on! You know, like leaving the smiley faces. I was really
it wasn't
thinking
very
it was
scary.
campy. It was campy. And if I knew this was a campy book, I would actually like it. But it's presented as a sort of, even I read somewhere something like it's taking the idea from Haunting of Hill House, which I think is a heresy. Because
Absolutely, it fucking
because
is.
no. You know, there is the family situation and the haunting in the family house, and no, please, people, if you want to love this book, love it. I am sorry, I will probably try to read it again with new eyes after this. I don't liking books, but please don't compare this to my
Shirley Jackson.
No, you can't do that.
No,
that's hurting this book. That's hurting Rachel, I think. It's not good.
Well,
Don't
I
do that.
deliberately don't, and in this case didn't read reviews of what
I was not trying,
what it
but
was,
it just came up somewhere. I don't
because
know.
that, you know, that can also give you the wrong idea of
Mm-hmm.
what it was. And I read it as, while I was reading it, sort of entertaining, a sort of haunted house type thing, which didn't go that deep. It had, I did find certain bits creepy in the middle where things first start happening, and then
Did
I
you?
thought that was really creepy.
Tell me. I want to know.
It was when she was in the house and then suddenly the fan slowly turns and then something happens with the lights and that
And the
was
seance.
yeah. And there were creepy bits, and then there was a bit in the end where the demon manifests himself, where she's there with her sisters, and I thought that was a very funny scene. I think that was deliberately funny because the idea is the demon just hangs around and is bored, and just spends most of the time being bored. And when people do stupid shit, they get really excited, and they saw a big fight between the sisters coming up, and there was a big fight. They were ripping each other's hair, and then all the doors were going, all the lights were going. The demon was having a whale of a time, and meanwhile they were fighting it out even more, and it didn't stop until they stopped fighting. And I thought, that's quite a well written scene. That's a very funny scene.
It was
It
funny.
was very much the Beavis and Butthead of demons. Do you know what? It's the sort of demon who would sit in the dark, in the attic, on his own, pulling the wings off flies and going...
Well, I think that's what it was presented as. Yes, as sort of just an absolute arsehole that will just hang about most of the time and then go, not pulling the wings of flies, but pulling mice to pieces. I think that's what.
Or that, pulling mice to pieces in this case. Yeah.
But
Oh,
also, sorry, the main point when there is a haunted house, there is usually a feeling of like people who are in that house, they come to this situation that like the demon is getting stronger and stronger. It manifests whatever. There is the feeling they can't really leave. Like it's either it's following them or they just can't really leave. She could leave at any point, as she did. There
And
was
did,
no
repeatedly.
reason for her to go back. So I didn't feel sorry. Like, did you understand? How am I supposed to
There was no
understand that?
threat.
Like, no.
Yeah, there was no
she
threat.
left.
Or,
She could
she went.
continue. So
Which
I think I don't know.
Which is a wise thing to do if your house has been haunted and you can go. Just
Yes,
fucking go.
yes.
So, and she did.
Well, she needed to catch up with her fashion friends, checking on her
Yeah,
family.
and that's absolutely fine. But
Yes.
it kind of like killed any sense of like drama or threat because
Yeah.
once you're aware that it's not going to stop her leaving,
Just
she
open
can
the
just
door and you
walk out the
leave.
door and walk off.
Austin is there waiting for you with the white claws, which I had to Google what that was, and it was, I don't know, I would like to know if Rachel has some contract with the white claws because it was mentioned like
Sponsorship.
55 times.
I think the reason
sorry?
why is
The White
it's
Claws, the drink.
Yeah, White Claw, which is kind of
Claw.
like American, the equivalent of
that.
Hooper's Hooch or
It's like
Wicked,
a-
fruit-based alcohol, kind of like alcoholic
I had to
lemonade
Google.
kind of thing. And I think it was just basically that's cheap piss that you can buy anywhere.
I guess
kind
there
of
is a
thing.
reason why she chose that one. I don't know how it's been like seen in America. Like, is it something like really like third grade, whatever you say, like not that good? Is it just cheap? I don't know.
I couldn't say, but
Like, what was the reason?
Maybe it was supposed to be like a basic girl drink, you know. Oh, it's a bit, you know, it's not very strong. It's a bit if it's fruity,
Like
especially.
influencer drink.
Yeah.
An influencer drink, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not an influencer.
Yeah.
I don't know anything.
So she's very clearly and obviously an unreliable narrator, as is her mum, an unreliable narrator. And I quite liked that. I quite like that twist on it, that we're kind of like hearing a story from an unreliable narrator who's also relating the story from also an unreliable standpoint as well, because it was quite clear from what Cleo thought and said that her mum had bullshitted quite a lot during the course of the book that she wrote. So I was kind of like thinking, this idea of unreliable narration, was it something that, because it can add very much to a story, but did it work for you as a device, as a plot device?
it worked for me. Yeah, because it did keep me guessing until pretty much near the end as to whether the demon was real or not. And
Yeah,
I think the
I did like
unreliable
that.
narration did keep the suspense going, literally until that big fight scene with the sisters in the house. Because before then, it was always the possibility: is it not?
Do you think that the double unreliable narration kind of worked as well? That kind of like story within a story, both coming from an unreliable source.
Well, it made me feel like maybe she's trying to suggest that genetic thing, something that like Cleo inherited from her mom. And
Something self-destructive.
I don't know, because in the whole story that the mom was writing the book, the reason why dad didn't want anybody to read it was sort of protect Cleo, as he was, explaining it, from knowing that they thought she was possessed, like she was the aim of this demon, and the demon was like setting his eyes and teeth and his aim on her. Am I right? That was in the book, and the dad was like, "Oh, you shouldn't read this because that's gonna be like with you the whole life." Even though I'm not sure if that was why, or he just didn't want.
I read it as that he didn't want the three girls to have anything to do with anything that their mum had
Yeah,
tainted, for want of a better word.
but also he was controlling the narrative then, so
Yeah.
he was very controlling.
I mean, he was definitely the baddie of the
questioned.
book, I think.
Yeah, like he was nice, and then the more you learned about the whole situation and the relationships and how he was always controlling, I was not liking him anymore.
I think he was an abusive character.
Yeah.
And that's what he came across to me, especially the scene where he finally loses his temper and smashes a chair against the wall, and everyone's going, and you're going, yeah, okay, I can see why her mom might have, and why he might have driven her mom to drink, and why the whole thing, might have happened. He was obviously just looking for an excuse to get the girls off her and make the mother character look like an insane alcoholic.
I think this is why I struggled with the thing, like Pike said earlier, what happened to Roy. But one of the themes of the book that I think I identified was that Cleo was trying to reclaim her mother's sanity, in that everybody around her was saying, "You're mad for believing that a house can be possessed." And Cleo started off thinking the same, and then gradually came around to the conclusion that her mum was right, that there was something in the house, and maybe she wasn't mad and she wasn't unreliable. But then this thing with Roy happened,
Yeah.
and it's like, well, Roy was also a choice that your mum made. So how can she be both? How can you be claiming to reclaim her sanity and her choices and sort of like invalidating the gaslighting of her? And now you're doing exactly the same by attacking Roy and sort of like, I thought when that scene happened, when she has a go at him over the phone towards the end, I was like, have I missed something? Have I skipped over a couple of pages? Because I couldn't see why is Roy bad? I think
Yeah.
I must have missed something.
It's because of his bad fashion sense, because he's into this weird occult shit, and he's not cool.
I liked
essentially.
him.
I felt very sorry for Roy, for poor
Me
Roy.
too.
That's essentially his fault is he's not cool, you know. And there is a point where he gets dragged away by the demon, and Cleo says, "I completely forgot about Roy. Wow." And at that point, I thought, okay, Roy, you were in this book just to be comic relief. That is sad.
Yeah, there was no reason.
It just felt, and this is what I meant earlier when I said I don't think I quite understood what the point of it was. Because I thought one of the points of the book was sort of like Cleo trying to reclaim her mum's sanity and sort of like counter the gaslighting that had gone on of her mum. And now she ends up doing pretty much the same thing. And I couldn't reconcile those two things about what I was supposed to think about that and what I was supposed to think about her.
See, that's interesting, because I did not think for a minute she was trying to reclaim her mother's sanity in the gaslighting. It didn't come across to me at all. I thought she was just trying to prove a point by taking on the house, trying to prove a point to her father and her sisters.
To the family.
You might well be right, Lithos. I could have easily
That's how I
listened to
read
it
it.
that
And,
too.
and
Yeah.
that, you know, in the end, she held her mum in the same regard as she held everyone else in her family, like they were beneath her. That's the way I read it, you know. And I think, you know, that's possibly why I liked the book so much more, because I just read it as kind of an entertaining horror story about where the main protagonist is an unpleasant person who, and I don't mind reading books about unpleasant protagonists.
No, me neither. I don't have a problem with that. And like I just said a moment ago, it could easily be my misunderstanding, not her writing. I just couldn't. I found it very hard to sort of like form an internal logic of the whole book about where it was going and what it was trying to say. I just didn't get it.
I think a lot hinges here on whether you found the book funny. Because whenever it tries to make a serious point, it falls flat. But whilst it's cracking jokes and entertaining you, I think that works.
Yeah.
I didn't try and make sense of the book at all as I was reading it. I read it sort of over the space of several days, but in quite large chunks. And I read it as an entertainment, and I just went along for the ride, and I really enjoyed it. And I wasn't looking for anything, you know, if you compare it to something like Carrion Crow, which goes really deep into things.
Yeah.
This I just saw as a sort of horror yarn that was very entertaining, and I enjoyed reading.
I think we might have spoiled ourselves by starting off with books like Left Hand of Darkness and Carrion Crow
Yes.
and The Haunting of Hill House, because everything is going to suffer by comparison.
I like the mixing of high and low culture. And this is one of the strong points in this book as well, is when it mixes high and low culture. Say when they have that family barbecue and she's talking about, something's rotten in the kingdom of Denmark, and they're trying to reunite the kingdom with using mayonnaise-based salads. I thought moments like that where it really, the writing really shone.
She is very good at writing funny scenes. There's no doubt about that. And yeah, there were a number of times that I did laugh out loud, particularly towards the start of the book.
I feel like an alien in this group. I didn't
Well,
find
it's a
anything
matter of
funny.
personal taste, isn't
Am
it?
I okay?
I mean, I just, in terms of style, I thought, I did not find any clumsy turns of phrase throughout. It kind of flowed really easily. It was so easy to read. It was so easy to follow. The dialogue was great, and like I say, I just read it as, this is a really entertaining book. It doesn't plumb any great depths, but you don't have to have that in every book. Sometimes entertainment's all you want, and that's what I got.
Yeah, I've got no problem with that. I mean, that's pretty much how I approached Wintertide. I don't know. When I said earlier that I couldn't find an internal logic, I wasn't necessarily saying that I went looking for it, but it's kind of like the internal logic of a book should present itself to you, the reader, and it didn't for me. Now that again might just be my failing, not hers.
Stop blaming yourself.
But it's a legitimate possibility, yeah? I mean, she's a fucking good writer. I'm not. So it makes sense that the fault is...
Well.
So we mentioned him briefly, the dad, and I'm going to mention him again. Poor Roy gets all that shit happen to him. The dad, absolutely no consequences whatsoever at the end of the book. He basically smashed a chair at the wall, told his daughter that sometimes he wanted to strangle her, and... no consequences.
But even Cleo didn't suffer any consequences. For example, when she went multiple times, she went live when she was drunk and people were like seeing it, and I thought this is happening because she's gonna lose some followers or her job or something. It actually helped her or something. Like, why was it even here?
Well, I think the
Maybe it's worth mentioning here what going live means in that context. As in, she was on, I think, was she on Instagram or something?
Live, I think.
Yeah, like a live stream, and she was acting, well, if people didn't know what she was doing, she might have looked a little bit crazy and obviously drunk and, dirty, and her makeup was all over the place, and like, it wasn't her as they knew her. All made up and beautiful and just posing, and now she was doing this, and I thought, okay, there is going to be a little consequence for this, like she's going to learn a lesson. No, I just couldn't. I'm like, this is not how life works. I've fucked up in my life, and I had to pay a price.
Tell us about it.
Next time, next time on the Devil's Library, I'm going to tell you all my fuck-ups.
I think she said in the end, she was saying, well, she thought that would be the end of her career, but it turns out that people like naughty stuff on Instagram, and it got a few more people interested. And however, at the party in the end, she did remark that, people did keep their distance and did give her strange looks and like.
Well, she didn't care at all, so.
But no, she didn't care. No, she didn't. Mm-hmm. But to come back to the father figure that you asked about, Leraje. Yeah, I think, the thing is, he's presented as a kind of man who just goes through life taking control over other people and suffering no consequences. He just kept himself out of trouble. He didn't want anything to do with the house. He was basically a control freak and a coward and a bully. That's how his character came across to me. I don't know how anyone else felt about that character.
Yeah, I agree.
I thought it was a bit... I mean, to me, it felt more complicated than that. I think partly, Leraje, when you mentioned two unreliable narrators, I think one purpose for that could have been to show that when it comes to families, there's a lot of myth-making. And in this case, they're trying to go back to events that happened when Cleo was so young she can't remember anything. And then her father is the saint, then her father is the asshole, and the mother is the asshole, then the mother... It's sort of... None of it seems what it appears to be to me.
Yeah, there's this kind of... the idea that... like you say, this myth making with it that probably every family has about who's good and who's bad and who did this and who did that. And the truth is always somewhere in the middle, somewhere in between.
It's bad to throw a chair, but you could be that angry and still not necessarily be 100% an asshole. I don't know about
True.
your families. My family was very sort of stereotypical, very stable and everything, but we had some pretty awful moments sometimes.
Tell us about them.
Well,
Next time, but one on the Devil's Library.
it's the confessional.
What did we think about all the Greek names?
I kind of like them.
Oh, right. I hadn't even thought of that, of course, yes. Yeah.
Alexandra, Leda, Daphne, Cleo.
Yeah.
I thought those
Yes.
were nice names.
Was this Rachel Harrison trying to tell us that, look, this is a fucking tragedy, right? This is a Greek tragedy. You must read it as a Greek tragedy.
Well, I don't know. No one
Okay.
fucked a swan, so is it Greek? I don't
This was what this book was missing. Everyone would have loved it. If
Swan
that was in
fucking.
there.
Swan
See,
fucking
maybe that
never
would
went
make me
amiss.
happy.
I got to admit, I did kind of like wince a little bit at Leda, nicknamed Leeds, being the strong, forceful one, and Daphne, Daffy, being
Yeah, the nicknames were
airhead.
awful.
It's like, come on, it doesn't have to be that on the nose. Rein it in a little bit.
Daphne, I don't know. Was Daphne the airhead? I thought Cleo was more of an airhead. Daphne was kind of, I think, more of the sort of black sheep of the family because Dad could not deal with the fact that she was gay for a start, and that she was working in catering and weird hours, whereas the others had steady jobs.
Well, influencer.
Influencer is
And of course, Tommy, sweet Tommy.
Oh,
my
yeah, we
God.
forgot about Tommy.
No, I haven't, but I don't want to. But like, you know, exactly with him, the first sentence was, Tommy was not attractive in any sort of way. That's a sentence. And I'm reading this. I'm like, how do you know what is attractive to me? I am reading this. How can you say this? It's not.
Yeah, but it's not to you. It's to Cleo.
I was
that's the
reading
way
it.
she's. Yeah, but this is the
Yeah.
way
I
Cleo
hate
thinks.
that. I just hate
Cleo
that because
thinks he's not attractive to anyone because he's not attractive
because
to
only she's
Cleo.
attractive.
That is how Cleo
basically,
thinks.
I think
You know,
she's the
it
only
is-
attractive.
I had a little heartbreak there because he wears sweater vests and listens to new metal. And I thought, oh, a lot of my friends still listen to new metal as their main kind of music.
Yeah.
That is... it's,
Free choice.
Yes.
Dear
but-
God.
Surely as an adult, you should be able to listen to whatever you want without it being uncool.
Yeah,
but no.
Yeah,
I'm joking. It's fine. Limp Bizkit are great.
I like them.
Say it again, but loud.
No. That's the first and last time I'll ever say that sentence.
Is it staying in the recording?
Might do. We'll see. See how I feel.
Surely it's a blooper.
As a believer.
Blooper. Like, would it be attractive enough for Cleo, what I'm listening to? This is the question.
I think nothing is attractive enough to Cleo except for Cleo herself. Is the bottom line.
I think what you were saying earlier, Ligeia, about that, the period when Cleo accidentally went live on Instagram a couple of times. And I thought that had the potential to get really quite interesting about what would have happened if she'd lost all her followers and her life collapsed.
Yes.
And, you know, that would have been real repercussions.
Or if somebody could see the demon in the recordings, or there would be something. Like, there is a reason why it's there. Like, it happens, and I was like, why did it happen? I'm expecting, okay, we will get back to that scene, because this was interesting. No. No. Well, if I don't know, I'm not gonna try go live completely pissed and going on my fourth through the house
Wait.
and climbing the attic, and I don't know. I'm not doing that.
Going on a demon hunt.
Yeah, I think I would lose all my family. Like, basically everybody would move out. Like, okay, we are done. Like, we knew you were weird, but this is enough. Like, we don't need this in our lives. And with Cleo, it's like, no, it's all good.
Well, I think, you know, in the end, I don't know about the no consequences. I think in the end, the family ends up being just as sort of dysfunctional as they were all the way through, in that
Yeah.
they're not having, when they're together, they're not genuinely getting on or showing respect towards each other. They're
Nothing
doing
really
niceties.
changed.
And she said that she would never trust her father again for keeping things from her.
But she would still take his money, so that's good.
Well, yeah, fuck it. Who
Fuck the
wouldn't?
trust. Who cares? Pay my bills.
If I had to guess, I would guess that they would glue that family back together after a certain period of time. Because, yeah, do I have agreement?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Yeah. It's a family who, every member of which is just like, I don't think, nothing, and this was one, nothing felt consequential. Nothing felt like it had any kind of long-reaching repercussions or impact, or I don't know. I think I just spent the whole book waiting for the other shoe to drop, and for me, it just never did. And I came away from it thinking, that's a very good writer. I'll read another one by her, but I just didn't understand this book. I didn't understand what it was trying to say.
Can I have a question about like this phrase she uses? And because I read another book of hers before this, it's called So Thirsty. It's about vampires. I did like that book more because I love vampires. It was also campy and was about these two women, and there was like little steamy something with this vampire, and I enjoyed that. I was hoping for more, but girl can read.
Oh, does it fade to black?
For me, yeah, I am a fucking rotten girl, okay? But she keeps using that, and you, Pike, mentioned this at the beginning, to blow a raspberry. Is this, I know what it means, but I have never in my life heard it, like a person say it. Is it something that is just not British, or do you guys use it?
No, it's
Yeah.
quite
I've
a
never
common
heard
expression.
it. Is it?
I had to
Yeah,
look it up.
yeah.
I had to
I
look it
had
up
to look
because
it up.
I'd never heard it.
Never in my life heard that.
Oh, right.
Because people probably do it rather than name it. You know?
Yeah.
It's like sticking your tongue out, no? Like,
No,
Well,
no,
with
blow a
the-
raspberry
so-
is a really common expression.
well, because I guess it's like the tongue is like a raspberry looking for some reason. I don't
It's
know.
not.
It's
It really
not.
isn't.
It could be more like
if
a
your
strawberry
tongue looks
or
like a
something.
raspberry, then you really
You
need
have
to
a
go see a
problem.
doctor.
Right?
Yeah,
Sounds-
kind of might have some kind of growth on there that needs removing.
The phrase that was new to me in that book was eating box. I never heard that. I wondered if it's an Americanism. I had to
Yeah.
I
look
think
it
it's
up.
an Americanism, because the
What
only
was it?
time
Sorry? Say that
eating-
again, I missed that.
Eating box.
eating box,
Box.
it's an Americanism for cunnilingus of coarse
Carpet
phrase.
munching.
But yeah,
Oh, B-O-X.
B-O-X.
Yeah.
Box.
Box.
I thought you were saying bucks as in B-U-C-K-S. I don't remember reading
maybe
that.
books.
It's definitely not a British one. It's American, and because I first came across that on South Park with Cartman saying it, so it's an offensive phrase. But yeah, I it's something I've heard Americans say, but not British people.
Would that be so bad to say straight? This is my Slavic root coming into play. Is it so bad to say, like, straightforward what it is instead of using these?
That's just
It wouldn't be bad to say, but,
Isn't it
people
more
use idioms. And,
spicy then? Like,
I think she was making it in terms of her sarcasm. She was talking about, because one of the sisters, Leda, has some kind of eating disorder.
no Daphne. No, she was talking about Daphne, I think.
Yeah, but she was kind of talking about Leda not eating and Daphne's favourite thing being eating box. Something like that, I seem to recall.
Oh, right,
I
yeah,
can't
yeah.
remember, but it was kind of like food related, because she kept, Leda does have some kind of eating disorder, and she keeps making harsh comments about that. And then I think it was something along those lines that, that's why she said eating box. But she was just being derogatory about her sister, basically.
Oh, yeah. But like eating out, remember the phrase? During COVID?
Eat out to help out, yes. I thought we weren't allowed to.
I loved it so much. Oh.
Well, when I was reading it, I thought she meant eating box. I thought she meant eating takeaways. Her being a chef. Her being a chef. I thought that was such. Okay, that's it. Let's move on to something else quickly.
Well, finally something I like. Okay.
Pitchforks.
Yeah, let's do pitchforks. Based on Pike's shiny new recommendation. I'll have to fucking look at it now because I've forgotten what it...
Well, you don't have to use it.
No, I
Just
do.
for the benefit of a listener, I can't rate things from 1 to 10. So I've set up a list that helps.
Pike, do you want to go first?
Yes, I will give it an 8.
Which is, listener, bit of a slog, but valuable, or bit shallow, but fun. Did feel an urge to recommend.
I did feel an urge to recommend this to my sister because my sister is so much like Cleo, and I think it would be enjoy.
Oh, no.
She would enjoy.
Whoa. I'll trust your sister doesn't listen to this.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm going under the table.
I
No,
would have been a lot nicer about Cleo if...
this is not cool enough for my sister. I'm sorry.
Ligeia, what about you, pitchforks?
Okay, now because Pike's sister, I will give it a 4.
4.
Yes.
Some redeeming moments
Yeah.
to writing or content only. The other one sucks entirely. Okay. Lithos, what about you?
Right, I'm going to give it on my own scale. So it's it basically it has crossovers with the comments that you read out before, but it doesn't quite fit.
Right, okay.
I will give it a solid 9. I would have given it more, but for the fact that I think I can't really give it a 10 in terms of like stylistically and how much I enjoyed it. I would have given it a 10, but I can't really put it up there with Carrion Crow. So it's a 9.
Ooh.
It's a fucking great book. I loved it.
We would have to banish you from the podcast if you put it up there, Karen Crow.
Yeah.
And I will give it a 6, which is by Pike's rating. Not for me, but I can see its value and I think someone else could legitimately enjoy it. Next time, it is Ligeia's choice. So what have we got, Ligeia?
So I chose a book that is completely new. It came out January 16th. I wanted to find a book that none of us read before. So that was my point of view. So it is a book by John Ward. I think this is his first adult novel. It's called A Blackened Heart, A Blackened Soul. And there is a slight connotation or inspiration by The Exorcist. So this is why I chose it. I really would like to know your opinions.
Okay.
So next time.
Right, that's it from us then. We've been talking about Play Nice by Rachel Harrison. As ever, look, these are just our opinions. Feel free to go ahead, read it, make your own opinions, because that's what matters, what you think, not what we think. Until next time, I've been Leraje, Hail Satan, and with me has been Pike,
Hail Satan.
Ligeia,
Hail Satan.
and Lithos.
Hail Satan.
Hail Satan.